If you're watching this, you have probably been struggling with getting your personal brand to consistently close qualified leads for your coaching, consulting, or either your agency business. You're spending hours on researching content, trying to figure it all out, and you probably think that your online success is based on some specific funnel that you have to find and then replicate. But the thing is, that's just very misleading. Although these things will help you grow, they're not actually the things that will lead you to the goal of scaling your success. And I know this because I was in that exact position for a long time, struggling with it, and it only made me more confused the longer I was in it. I constantly felt like I needed to do more, but I wasn't really taking the right action because I was just overwhelmed by all the things I saw online. Probably just like you're experiencing right now. And if that's you, then keep watching, because in this video I'll share a 7-step framework to consistently land qualified clients, and it's quite simple. I'm going to be covering your niche/offer, branding, messaging, traffic, nurturing, conversion, delivery, and lastly, you. And make sure you watch the whole video until the end, because this is a synergistic process, meaning that these components are powerful by themselves. By implementing this system, you'll basically have an automated sales team that consistently reaches new people and builds a connection with them on your behalf, as long as you choose to fuel it, but we'll get into that later. An example is my client Ewout, who managed to close more than 10K in new business within 20 days, and me, I managed to close more than 40K in new business within 3 months after posting my first videos online. Now, as of this moment, I'm very happy with where I'm at. My work-life balance is great, my business is growing, I have time to share my knowledge, learn new things, and on top of that, I have a roadmap that will help me reach my goals. But that wasn't always the case. See, I used to have one main way of closing new clients, and at its core, it seemed like it was the perfect method for me. It was cost efficient, and more importantly, it allowed me to speak with people that trust me, even before we spoke for the first time. So imagine, I didn't have to work really hard to get new clients because these people already saw me as trustworthy. Because to be honest, it's kind of pointless and also a little bit of a waste of your time to be spending like 20 minutes to an hour to get someone to even consider you as an option to help them with their problem, when you know for a fact that you can. Hate is a big word, but there's few things I passionately dislike in business, but that's one of them. So if there's a way I can consistently have conversations with leads that trust me, I'm taking that all day. And like I said, it seemed like the perfect method for me. But there was one thing that was wrong with my old approach, and that is that it was unreliable. Maybe you've guessed it already. I used word of mouth. Word of mouth is the cheapest way to get new clients, but if you want to consistently generate and close, you have to implement a system that is built on an offer your ICP actually wants to buy, one that generates awareness around your brand within your niche, and a system that builds trust with your audience so that they actually see you as the best option. And this is it. Okay, so enough of the intro. I present to you the Promo Firma Growtocol. The first and most important key in the growth of your business. Before you start growing your business, you have to create clarity on who you are, what you want, and why you actually want those things, because that clarity will be the source of the path that lights up to your success. And be honest, time and time again, we've all seen major improvements in business and just in general performance and results when a person gets clarity on what it is they actually want to accomplish and then decides to take the action. But the action has to come from the right place in order to get the desired result. Now, there are a lot of books and videos on this topic, and I'm not diving into it. But remember, you are only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. Yes? And there's 2 extra things that I want to share. Don't focus so much on what happens outside of you, because external reality needs time to catch up to the internal changes you make. Also, be ready to take action, because if you are not ready to take action, none of this will work. And we continue with the second component, and I personally think this is somehow the most overlooked part of selling an online product or like a service in general, and it's your offer, aka the result or transformation that you sell to your ideal customer profile. Creating a good offer is all about perceived value, and remember that one because it's important. And just so you know, you can earn 2K and 20K a month with the same level of expertise. because creating a great offer is more than just knowing you can help your ICP and slapping a price on the surface. It's all about understanding your audience to the core so that you can provide and communicate a solution that actually solves their problems. See, getting your offer right is like an absolute obligation if you want to build a sustainable business. Without it, you'll always rely on discounts and you'll always feel like you're working for a lower price than you should actually be getting. Or your prospects simply won't really get what you're offering them, and that leads to them not working with you. That's the type of business that will have you swimming in deep melancholic thoughts, like actually thinking about quitting your business. And I know you guys have that. We all do sometimes. Okay, so you're probably asking, what do you define as a good offer and ICP? And I will show you. A business that gets it wrong, by the way, this is based on Alex Hormozi's value equation. So a business that gets it wrong doesn't have a clearly defined ICP. Their offer is vague, has no depth, or isn't really aimed at a specific audience. For example, very broad things like business coaching and fitness coaching. And that leads to having shallow positioning, sales interactions that are exhausting because they have to figure out and build trust with each prospect from scratch, inconsistent story or promise, because what they say in their content doesn't really align with how they sell and what they sell. Consistently adding bonuses or extra, trying to give more out of insecurity because they feel like their offer isn't really connecting with their audience. Every move feels like guessing or gambling and not really like a strategy. See, a business that gets it right has defined their ICP based on real data, interviews, and patterns. They build their offer around their ICP's pain and desired result using the value equation. You can just find this stuff online as well. Uses content to validate demand, knows exactly which words and stories resonate because their branding and messaging are aligned. And the sales calls feel super focused because the client already recognized themselves in the content. See, the majority of coaches, and not even only coaches, it's more so just service providers in general, they work like this. And I used to do it too. They slap a price on the surface and then they start listing out the list of benefits and they're like, buy my service. And it doesn't work because people don't want that. And this is not a Tommy Taylor shopping ad. So if you're that person still, stop it. It's not working and it will never work. I'm telling you, proper research will fix your problem. And the best way to research people is by building a personal connection with them. It's just basically talking to people, right? To me, that is the most effective and sometimes also the most efficient way to really understand people's beliefs and people's emotional, like the needs. You can really just get to the nuances of people's wants and needs. But on the contrary, having your audience fill in some type of form and just gathering data in that way is also a great way, especially if you want to see patterns, and it's also a great way to implement with your lead magnets. Okay, so how do you actually do this research, right? And first is, what is their current situation? More specifically, what problems are they currently experiencing that are preventing them from actually achieving their dream outcome? If you know the exact obstacles between your ICP's current situation and their desired reality, you are one big step closer to precisely tailoring your offer, content, sales process and services to help them get the best results. And one thing I also recommend is recording your sales calls. Trust me, getting this stuff right is like eating a Mario Mega Mushroom. The third component is where you start to see the synergistic power of implementing the Promo Firma Growtocol. I'll also share a 3-step process to ensure you get it right, but understand this first. Branding and messaging is the art of cultivating the desired emotional association with your business within your ICP. And there's a secret key, and if you dare to turn it, your branding and messaging will become the easiest out of all of these things instantly. You need your branding and messaging to be good, because without good intentional branding and messaging, your business just blends into the background and you become just another voice in a crowded section of the market, along with the other businesses that are straight hustling trying to get a client. While on the other side, you have businesses that attract new clients like a magnet. I can talk about branding and messaging for hours, and there's so many things you can do and buy to do it right and to help your branding, but to be fair, a lot of it just comes down to one key. You have to ask yourself this one question: am I currently expressing my authentic beliefs, insights and values through my branding and messaging? If you've answered yes to that question, congratulations. You've turned the secret key to branding. If you follow the Growtocol, you now know your beliefs and your values, and mix that in with some of your unique insights on the life and on the market, and you have step 1 to good branding. Now for step 2, you're gonna infuse your real personality into all communication, every piece of content, every landing page, doesn't matter. And for the third step, you're just staying consistent. Boom, now you have a brand. Now, some good examples of branding, of course, Apple, everyone knows this. You see me with my iPad, iPhone, everything. And Apple's brand equates with simplicity, with minimalism, and with creative excellence. That's why a lot of creative people love using Apple. And an easy way to make branding and messaging simple is by finding brands that you and your audience already like and trust, and analyzing and basically grabbing some of their elements and adding it to your brand. And it has a name in psychology, but that way you build trust more easily. By the way, if you like this video, please show me by liking the video, commenting and subscribing, because this channel will be filled with educational and entertaining content that helps you grow your business. So to conclude, the third key element inside the Promo Firma Growtocol, the element of branding and messaging will get you trust and recognition with your audience. Clients will say, I choose you because I just felt like we were the right fit, or you were the right fit. Content starts working before you even get on a call, and over time your brand becomes a magnet drawing in people who already feel connected. Now, don't forget, brands evolve just like you. Try new styles, change the tone, experiment a little bit with it, because your brand is not a cage that you should stay in. And if you ever do get stuck, remember the key: be authentically you. Inside your beliefs, just be you 100% authentically in everything you do and everything you put out. Traffic, aka the amount of people that come across your content, is one of the more quantifiable components inside the Promo Firma Growtocol. And I mean, it's easy, it's to observe how much traffic you're generating, right? And that's probably why a lot of people just hyper fixate all of their attention on it. Because if you can generate more traffic, get more leads, and that means you get more clients, right? No, that's wrong. There's a snake hidden under that belief. See, a lot of people use the internet and social media purely for their own entertainment and distraction. And that's why we've seen a lot of people just rise up to fame and virality, then try and offer a service that's actually quite good, but never seem to convert their audience into money. We don't want to be like them. Our goal is never to be an influencer. We're entrepreneurs, and as entrepreneurs we use social media to get qualified leads, close them. That means more qualified traffic equals more qualified leads equals more qualified clients. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we get qualified traffic? And to answer that question, we have to dive into what unqualified and qualified traffic is. Unqualified traffic is like setting up a Barcelona merch stand next to the Real Madrid stadium in a Champions League final game against Liverpool. I mean, yes, there's a lot of traffic there and they're all interested in football, but nobody will pay attention. Well, probably they will pay attention, but nobody will buy. Like this guy. He's thinking like, what is he actually doing here, right? It's basically useless traffic. A crowd full of people who will never actually be interested in buying your product simply because your core service or product in this case does not align with their wants and needs at all. They will never convert into a client, a prospect, or even a lead. See, qualified traffic is what we want for our business. That's like setting up a Barcelona shirt stand next to Camp Nou on a well-attended Barcelona game. It does mean that there's a bigger chance that they will offer you or just buy your product, I mean. See, these people are your ideal audience. It's just a matter of where they are in their customer journey that will determine your sales cycle then. Shortening sales cycles is why having an ecosystem is so important, because it helps us passively nurture cold leads into warm leads without us actually having to do anything. And we'll dive into nurturing and how we actually nurture our audience in a bit. First, we need to get traffic inside of our ecosystem. And how do we do that? With content, of course. We're gonna be posting on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, WhatsApp, and we're gonna be live streaming on Twitch because we want everyone to know that we exist. We want all of our ICPs, right? No, I'm joking. Here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to create some predictable traffic with meta ads. We're going to post organically on Instagram or on LinkedIn if you like writing better. And then we're going to send them to a long form nurturing platform like YouTube. And this is the step where we finally get to implement all of these things that we've done before. The branding, the messaging, the offer, right? And this is also why you cannot just focus on one of these elements, because it's really a synergistic process. They're interdependent components, meaning they don't function without the other. Right, so now we have nurturing. And nurturing is the art of building trust within your audience through content and through conversation. And as a service provider, you need trust in order to sell anything, especially if you sell something that's high ticket, because without the trust, you will probably never get a sale. And even if you do get a sale, your lead probably won't really trust your guidance, and that means that their results will be at least a little bit less. So we need trust, but how do we actually quantify that trust? That's the same question I had for a long time, and then I found this framework, the 3 yeses. And these are the 3 yeses you need from someone in order to get a sale. First, we need a yes to the outcome, because your lead will either consciously or subconsciously judge if you are actually capable of getting them to their desired result. Then we need a yes to the method, because the way you offer your solution, for example, one-on-one guidance or a group coaching, has to align with what they want, because if it doesn't, they will just go to a competitor that does offer what they want. And lastly, we have you. And this is actually the one that's easiest out of all of them, because you just have to be yourself. Now, the 3 yeses help me understand how to approach building trust within audiences a lot better. I found out after a lot of sales calls from even myself, but also my clients, that there's actually 4 yeses you need in order for someone to buy your solution. And that's where the full yes formula came in. We need a yes to the outcome, we need a yes to the method, we need a yes to you, but also we need a yes to themselves. And this one is actually the most important one, but also the one you have the least influence on. Because think about it, if someone thinks they will not be able to get the result, they will never get the result. Remember, we are only limited by our poverty of imagination and weakness of attention. On the other hand, you have people that trust themselves so much that they think, I don't even care, I will just make it work. And those people are way more likely to buy. Okay, so yes, you do need these 4 yeses, but don't look at it like check boxes that you have to check in order to get a result or to get a sale. It's more like a spectrum. So this means that we can get a 50 on one of the components and get a 75 and 100 on the others and then get a sale. It also means that you can get like 2 50s and 100 or 100 plus, there's a mistake in it, doesn't matter, and still get a sale. The goal is simply to get a percentage that's as high as possible so that the sale is as easy as possible. By the way, I like to focus a lot on the problem awareness journey, because by focusing on the problem awareness journey, you've built trust by the time they are looking for a solution. So you're basically ahead of the competition. Understanding the problem awareness journey helps you create content that meets their prospects or your prospects at their exact awareness level. It helps you create an ecosystem that actually guides your prospects from being unaware, actually having a clear sense of what their problem is and how to solve it. And also it helps you avoid overselling, because nobody likes the content or the people that are constantly like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff in their content. Okay, so with the conversion, we're focusing on helping people progress in their problem awareness journey and in our customer journey. And we first look at where they are in the problem awareness journey. But how do we actually define which people to progress and how to progress them? First, we have cold leads. You've probably all heard this. It's cold leads who are unaware of the core problem or solution we sell, don't feel urgency or pain, are skeptical because they've been burned by past solutions or coaches or whatever. They don't trust you or your brand yet. They need education, empathy and proof in order to go to being a warmer lead. Or they're just simply not ready to buy because they have some deep beliefs that just hold them in a certain cage. And for the last one, you have to kind of watch out, because if someone has a really strong belief that they cannot be helped, and you just have to let them go. Now, for the people that just don't trust you and your brand yet, you just have to nurture them with content and with conversation. And the people that don't feel the pain yet, you have to educate them. Warm leads are already aware of their pain and their problem. They kind of sometimes engage with your content. They like, they comment, also your subscribers and followers. And these are the people that you just have to follow up on, give them more clarity consistently with the nurturing. And these are really the people that just can become the buyers in the right time with the right amount of trust by nurturing them the right way. So remember the full yes formula. If you just apply that, you will get the full yes in time. And lastly, we have the hot leads. And these people are just ready to buy right now. If you just give them a little bit of reassurance, take out the 1 or 2 limiting beliefs that they have, they will buy. They're fully aware of their problem. They're actively searching for the right solution. They just need a brand that they can trust. So what's important, like actually very important, is to not oversell these people. And remember, like what I said at the beginning of this video, don't grab the list of benefits, just hear them out and show how you align with their needs. Now, disclaimer for leads in general is to not see leads only as leads. There are actual people that have real feelings and like a real goal that they want to achieve, and also real limiting beliefs that they have to overcome. So don't put them all in a box, but do use this as kind of an anchor to put them in a box sometimes, okay? The last component inside the Promo Firma Growtocol is delivery. And this is the one you have to be obsessed over. I mean, if you're the heart that keeps the blood pumping and the content is the blood that flows through the system, then this is the oxygen that actually keeps it alive. Seriously, if this is not the main thing that we're working to be the best at, then what are we actually doing with our time? See, client delivery is different for all of us because it heavily depends on what you like doing best and also what your clients want from you. There are a couple of things that we can do to make it more easy for us and more enjoyable. So this is how to make service delivery easy and enjoyable for yourself 101. First, we want to have leverage over effort, right? Build delivery around what's repeatable, enjoyable, replicable, simply meaning that you can have some resources, something like a course or recorded modules so that you don't have to explain, right? Also, we have container delivery, keeping our service inside a clearly defined container in terms of time, some angles, and also structure. Because otherwise we have to personalize everything, and also there's very little predictability if you don't do that. Then we have energy, right? So high energy equals high delivery quality. So scheduling our coaching sessions and other high energy things around the peak hours and days, simply because these are the most important things to have high energy for, and other things like doing like administration stuff, you don't really need that much energy for it, so you can do that on your other hours. What's also important is that you set some type of communication boundaries for yourself, some downtime, you know. Don't be online 24/7. Have some times that you just turn off your phone. I think that's just the best way. Also, deliver authentically to you, because we don't all have to do group coaching and one-on-one coaching. You can just do something that fits your natural strengths and energy. And also, lastly, just systemize everything and automate in steps. And what I mean with automating in steps is that you don't have to be like a wizard to build a little automation that helps you with some repeatable tasks. Using things like onboarding workflows, some delivery frameworks to reduce the repetition and increase clarity is great. What I'm basically saying with all of this is that we have to build a business that is actually serving us first. A lot of people, they get caught up in building a business that is for the people, for their clients, and I do everything for my clients, but you are the one that's actually doing the thing. So just build it for you first. And if you're not doing that, it will probably take way too much energy and you will burn out, or your business will just stop to exist because you cannot keep up with demand anymore. So yes, build a business that serves you first. Now you've seen the whole Promo Firma Growtocol, and I know it's a lot of info, but using a process like this, a system like this, frees up headspace, and that's exactly the headspace that you need to focus on your strengths. And also, it's a system that allows you to actually see where your online acquisition engine is still failing and where you can improve. And it's way better if you compare it to your current approach that probably is quite unpredictable because you don't know where your next lead is going to come from. One that has high cost and low trust because you're constantly switching from strategies and always taking a lot of energy to get to a point where you're posting. And also having this low profitability because you're always changing up things and never really knowing what it costs to acquire a new customer. And trust me, before I worked with this system, I had so many ideas, but I was like a library with books that weren't sorted right. So I was looking here, but then finding the information there. Now that I have a fully streamlined process, it allows me to focus on pouring my energy into understanding my audiences better, constantly improving my service delivery, and also writing just better stories. And it's things like that that are actually the cause of having a great business that doesn't force you to serve it, but more so a business that serves you because it's just how you want it to be. Now remember, in our lives we experience different seasons, and if you're currently in one of those seasons where you're kind of like working and not really knowing where the next customer is going to come from, then you probably cannot wait to turn your social media into like this machine that constantly gives you new qualified clients. Firstly, you need to stop posting random stuff. To create predictable growth, you are going to have to implement some kind of strategy around creating an ecosystem that builds trust with your audience. The second is success doesn't fall out of the sky. So you have to carefully plan and block out time and space to follow this process and to optimize the different stages. It's never plug and play. And third is we need to step away from this quick fix mindset. We're not just throwing stuff at the wall anymore. We're not aimlessly throwing money at Google and Meta, hoping that we're getting some funnel that turns eyes into buyers. We are building an ecosystem that converts Lucas into Pukas, scrollers into enrollers, glancers into advances, wanderers into customers, and browsers into believers. You get the point. If you found this video valuable and you want to look into if I could help you, please send me a DM on Instagram. On there you'll also find even more content that will help you grow your coaching, consulting, or agency business. I know, right? Crazy. But seriously, check it out and send me a DM if you have questions.